Time to sleep, little ones. Let's settle down and relax. Ready for a bedtime story that will take you to a magical forest. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let's begin. Once upon a time, in a beautiful forest filled with tall trees, soft grass, and colorful flowers, there lived a proud peacock named Pavo. Pavo was a magnificent bird with feathers that sparkled in every color you could imagine. His feathers were green, blue, gold, and even purple. And when the sunlight touched them, they shimmered like jewels. Pavo loved his feathers more than anything in the world. Every day, he would spread them out wide and strut around the forest, hoping all the animals would notice how beautiful he was. "Look at me," Pavo would say, twirling and dancing. "I'm the most beautiful bird in the whole forest." He would boast to the rabbits, the squirrels, and even the deer who lived in the forest. "No one is as beautiful as I am," he would say with a smile, puffing out his chest. The other animals would nod politely, but deep down they knew that beauty wasn't everything. One warm, sunny afternoon, as Pavo was strolling by the sparkling stream, he saw a little sparrow flying by. The sparrow had plain brown feathers and looked very small next to the mighty peacock. Her name was Suri, and she was known throughout the forest for being kind and friendly. Pavo puffed out his chest even more and said, "Suri, look at how lovely I am. Everyone in the forest admires my feathers. I am truly the most beautiful bird here." Suri looked at the peacock, but she didn't say anything at first. She had heard Pavo talk about his feathers many times before, and though she knew he was proud of them, she also knew something that Pavo didn't quite understand. "Pavo," Suri said softly, "your feathers are very pretty, but do you know what makes a bird truly special?" Pavo raised his head high and laughed. "What do you mean, Suri? My feathers are what make me special. Everyone in the forest says so." Suri smiled kindly. "You are special, Pavo, but not just because of your feathers. You are special because of who you are inside. It's your kindness, your heart, and the way you make others feel that truly matters." Pavo blinked, confused. He had never thought about it that way before. He only cared about how his feathers looked and how others admired them. "But look at my feathers," he said, spinning around to show Suri. "How could anything be more important than this?" Suri chuckled softly and said, "Maybe one day you will understand. But for now, let me tell you a story." And so, Suri told Pavo a story about a wise old owl who lived deep in the forest. The owl was not the most beautiful bird. His feathers were gray and plain, and he had a slow, careful way of flying. But the owl was known by all the animals for his wisdom and kindness. When a squirrel had trouble finding food in the winter, the owl helped him find the best hiding spots. When a baby rabbit lost its way, the owl would guide it back to its family. Every animal in the forest loved the owl, not because of how he looked, but because of how he made them feel. "Do you see?" Suri asked after finishing the story. "It's not about how shiny or colorful you are on the outside. It's about how you treat others and what's inside your heart." Pavo was quiet for a moment. He had never really thought about it like that before. He looked down at his shimmering feathers and then looked at Suri's plain brown ones. Suri's feathers were simple, but her eyes sparkled with kindness, and the way she spoke made Pavo feel warm and cared for. "I think I understand, Suri," Pavo said slowly. "But what if no one notices me without my feathers? What if no one thinks I'm special anymore?" Suri gently placed her wing on Pavo's shoulder. "Pavo, you are always special. You don't need to be the most beautiful bird in the forest to be loved. When you are kind, when you care about others, that's when your true beauty shines." Pavo thought about Suri's words as they both watched the sun set behind the trees. The next day, something very surprising happened. The forest animals, who had always admired Pavo's feathers, started to notice something else about him. They noticed that he had a gentle heart, a caring nature, and a willingness to help. One day, a little rabbit named Timmy got stuck in a thicket. Pavo, without hesitation, rushed over and used his strong beak to gently untangle the branches. The other animals watched in surprise. They had never seen Pavo so kind and helpful before. "I didn't know you could be so gentle, Pavo," said Timmy, hopping away happily. Pavo smiled, feeling a warmth in his heart that he had never felt before. He realized that the more he helped others, the happier he became. His feathers no longer mattered so much, and he no longer felt the need to boast. The animals began to admire him for his kindness, and in return, Pavo admired them for their own qualities. Like the clever squirrel who always found the best acorns, or the wise owl who helped guide the lost animals. Days turned into weeks, and over time, Pavo's feathers began to lose their shine. They were no longer as colorful as they had once been, but something even more beautiful began to appear. The other animals started to see how Pavo's heart had grown bigger and kinder. They loved him not because of his feathers, but because of the way he made them feel. And one day, as Pavo walked beside Suri, he turned to her and said, "Suri, you were right. I thought beauty was all about how I looked, but now I see that it's what's inside that matters most. Thank you for teaching me." Suri smiled and nodded. "We all have something special to share with the world, Pavo. And now you found your true beauty." From that day on, Pavo was known not only as the bird with the brightest feathers, but also as the kindest, most caring bird in the forest. He had learned that real beauty comes from the heart, and that was something no feather could ever replace. Now, my dear, as the story ends, remember that true beauty comes from within. The kindness you show, the love you give, and the happiness you spread are what make you truly special. Sweet dreams, little one. If you enjoyed this bedtime story, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more magical tales to help you drift off to sleep. Sweet dreams, and we can't wait to share more stories with you soon. Good night.